My name is James Goodwin. What would you do if you went to the faucet and no water came out? Fortunately for us, that's a problem we normally don't have, and that don't give it much thought. I didn't give it much thought until a few years ago. About 4 years ago, I became involved with a project for the City of Dallas Water Utilities, and currently working on a project for the Trinity River Authority of Texas, also known as the TRA. And I was just going to share with you a few of the things I've learned about the water treatment process, from the water source to the treatment process to the delivery to the customer. Now, the specific plant I'm talking about is in northeast Tarrant County. The water is sourced from Lake Arlington, and I didn't know anything. I didn't even know there was a Lake Arlington. And Lake Arlington was completed in July of 1957, according to the Texas State Historical Association, for recreation use and for water source for the citizens of Arlington. The water is then pumped from Lake Arlington over to the treatment plant where the processes begin. The initial process is an ozone gas injection, and I have an illustration here. This is a raw water ozone building where ozone gas is injected. Ozone gas is basically 3 oxygen molecules that has properties for disinfecting, and it's passed through the injectors down through the degasifiers. From here, it is pumped over to a rapid mix building where a food-grade polymer is added. The rapid mix building is a tall building. It's mainly enclosed, where it's pumped. The water is pumped up about 2 stories, and then the food-grade polymer is injected into the water, and it tumbles down in pipes, hence the name rapid mix, where it tumbles and mixes up with the polymer. From there, it's pumped over to the sedimentation basin. Now, I do have an illustration for the sedimentation basin. The sedimentation basin is where the large contaminants are removed from the water. Over here, you can see this is the scrubber, and unfortunately, in this photograph, I don't have the impellers. They're basically propellers that turn and just churn the water over and over, so that while the polymer starts collecting with particles like dirt and other things, they churn around and collide with each other, growing larger and larger until they finally become heavy enough to settle to the bottom, and that's what the scrubber removes it. Meanwhile, the other contaminants are mainly on the top. That's why this level, these are plate settlers, and the water, it enters about halfway up, while most of the contaminants are on the bottom or on the top. The water goes in basically midway up and is hydraulically pushed up where it's collected, and the water's pretty clean at that point. Then the water is sent over through additional filtration systems, basically sand, like a reverse osmosis. It's pushed down through these sand filters where it can be drank at that point. Everybody worries about, fluoride, chlorine, and everything like that. None of that is added until the water is ready to be delivered. And the reason for that is that those pipes that are underground for this water to be delivered, over time get corrosion and dirty. So something has to be added to the water for it to remain sterile, well, basically sterile for consumption along the way. Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has standards for all of this to be added. The maximum amount of residual is 4.0 milligrams per liter of chlorine and 2.0 milligrams per liter of fluoride. All that can be found at the standards and reporting for public water systems for Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. From then, it's delivered through 60-inch water mains, and they do become smaller. These water mains become smaller as they get to residential neighborhoods. They'll be delivered to your house for anything, from bathing, drinking, whatever you choose to use for watering your lawn. And this is basically just been a brief rundown on on how your water is treated. It's up to you how you use it. It's definitely not a resource that should be taken for granted, although lately we've been blessed with plenty of it. But it's also a field which provides a lot of career opportunities for people like me who are interested in engineering. And it's a great opportunity to give service to your neighbors to do. So I hope this has been informative from the whole process, and have a great week.